Cousins hangs in, fires, pass caught, touchdown, Minnesota. Irv Smith, welcome back to the lineup with a touchdown.
With Montgomery on 1st and 10, his running back in a hole, and then he's off with a nice stiff on, and it's a foot race down the sideline. Jackson in pursuit, Reed in pursuit, he's gone to the house, 80-yard touchdown run. Wow!
After the penalty, and keeping on the ground with Kerryon Johnson, and he breaks the plane. Touchdown Lions. Rodgers looking right, throwing right. It is held on to. What a grab by Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Pylon listeners, we are back here to recap Week 14 of the NFL season. And a lot happened today, some good, some bad. But let's go around to the crew here. I'm Big Z representing the Detroit Lions. Let's go around the rest. So the NFC North, representing the NFC North champions now for 2020, Kinger representing the Packers.
You know, I appreciate you making that introduction. I didn't even have to announce that I was representing your 2020 NFC North champions. But go Pack, great Sunday.
Then my God, Barney representing the resurgent Bears offense.
I think we just saw clear-cut evidence that the Watson-Trubisky comparisons are laid at rest. We got the best guy, and let's go Bears.
I'm sure we'll be getting into that more later in the podcast. And then last but not least, Remy, who's somewhere out in the middle of nowhere searching for a kicker right now. Representing the Vikings.
Kickers wanted. Next week, it's do or die, Vike fans. School, baby.
So, as you can tell, a lot to talk about here as we wrap up Week 14 of the NFL season. But we're going to first start with this Packers-Lions game. Kind of a wild game, Kinger. But, man, you can start off here because I'm angry about it. But, what did you like out of your team today?
I will just say that the Packers know how to keep a team around and let them hang with the absolute best of them. I thought Detroit played a pretty respectable first half. They, again, were threatening there at the end of the first half to potentially go down and score and take the lead. That big sack ended up happening, forcing them back. I think it was like a 3rd and 20. So got out of it. At halftime, I'm feeling, I guess, pretty fortunate in regards to where we're at. Quite frankly, I thought we dominated the second half. For the most part, time of possession was great. The offense looked pretty smooth. Detroit did make plays, a few plays when it came down to it, but the fact that we really let Detroit hang in the game there towards the end, you got to obviously continue to bring up these conversations around how good is this defense and why do we continue to put ourselves in this situation, because I felt like it should have been put away a lot earlier than what it was, and Detroit obviously was able to hang around. I think Green Bay did enough to win today. They were a very undisciplined football team. But you take the win, and with New Orleans losing today, they're not only the NFC North champs, but they now control the number 1 seed going forward in the playoffs. So there's obviously a lot of things that need to be addressed and cleaned up going forward, but I'm going to take the win. I unfortunately got hooked on the fucking bet, but, it is what it is. So at least you guys can relish in that.
Yeah, right. Well, for the Lions, at least, I'm just angry because, that third quarter was so frustrating. What the Packers, the Lions ran 3 offensive plays in the entire quarter. The Packers had the ball for 12 minutes or 13 minutes, something crazy like that. And you're not going to win a game when something like that happens. And it was amazing that the Lions even had a chance here at the end. I thought Stafford yet again played a really, really good game. And I just love seeing him in this, being freed finally from whatever the hell Patricia's, conservative approach to the game is. Stafford is so much better when he has this aggressive mentality. He missed a couple deep throws today, but he keeps chucking them, and his offensive line gave him pretty good time, I thought, especially when they're working with a former defensive tackle at right tackle. We are hurting majorly on the offense and defensive line. So, and I will say this about the Lions as well. I know they lost today, but they put up way more fight than they ever had under Patricia. they would have given up on this game. They probably would have lost by double digits, probably 20 under Patricia. But this team, for some reason, under Bevel, is fighting a lot more in the fourth quarter than they ever did in the Patricia era. And I just had to throw this in there. Kinger's going to disagree with me, but it's always tough to beat the Packers when you're playing against two teams on the field. I'm talking about the Packers and then the referees. That Marvin Jones was a catch. That was an absolute catch. Now, it didn't. I'm not saying that or the onside kick ultimately decided the game. It didn't. The Lions didn't deserve to win because of the way they played on defense. But I am sick and tired of seeing this every time we play the Packers. It happens every time.
I'll give you the argument that it was potentially a catch, but again, I don't think there was, as your picture that you sent me, I don't think you can clearly see that his left toe was touching the ground. And to rule it incomplete on the field, you really need that indisputable video evidence to turn it around. So I think it was the right call. Again, you can dispute me. It was a hell of an effort by Marvin Jones, but I mean, again, it didn't. I don't think those plays really impacted the game, although with our defense, had you guys gotten that onside kick in the end, there's no doubt in my mind I would have been sweated out.
Yeah, and then the Packers almost let us back into it too with another great special teams play by the Packers.
That's the one thing. Week. I was screaming at my TV. Luckily, we have the man, Mason Crosby himself, just bangs that field goal from 57 yards.
Unbelievable. And then,
I mean, he's the. It was 58. They corrected it to 57, Remy. But Mason's the man. I mean, he steps up, kicks that field goal to give us the two possession lead there at the end, and then really saves the touchdown. Saves the touchdown on the very next play on the kickoff, right? Which our special teams has been horrendous. I don't know. I don't know what needs to be done, but you cannot continue to have this many mistakes and put ourselves in this position with the special teams. Our field goal kicking unit is excellent. Crosby's a man, like I said, but outside of that, we continue to surrender big plays, and it's something that's now. It didn't happen once. It didn't happen twice. This has happened 3 times now. Damn near 3 games in a row. We almost let a kick go back for a touchdown. So. You can't, or have some sort of special team score. You can't have that happen and win games.
Yeah, and I mean, and the Lions, you can see from the beginning of this game how bad they're hurting on defense. I mean, Devontae Adams going up against our third string cornerback was just a complete mismatch.
That first play he made early, I mean, that he really did make the Lions defense look silly on that first one.
Yeah, then there was a 3rd and 15. I think it was the third quarter when it happened, where we had all 4 defensive linemen fall to the ground on one play.
You saw
I've
that.
I've never seen that before.
Tunyon pushed him, and he fell directly into his own guys, created like a bowling ball effect. It was wild.
But, I mean, that just kind of shows, like, that whole defensive line is backups right now. Aquara is the only starter. I don't think he was out there on that specific play. But we desperately need Everson Griffin. Then he goes out 2 days before the game with COVID. I don't know if he has COVID or he's near somebody. That's just the kind of season that we're having here this year with, somebody randomly gets out. Like we saw Des Bryant. He was out an hour before the game, even though he's warming up on the field. Just a goofy season. But, yeah, the Lions moved to 5-8. My team is almost – I think there's a 1% chance they can still make it for some reason. They're not mathematically out of it. They would need a miracle to happen, but yeah, the Lions. I really hope Stafford can play going forward. I hope this wasn't his last game.
Is it a ribs injury? Do we know what's going on with that?
It's something with his rib. That's all I know.
Yeah,
it's hard to. If Stafford doesn't go out there though, it has to be pretty serious. He's a pretty tough dude, and he usually goes out there and battles through it.
Definitely,
the fact he couldn't go back out there, definitely concerning. Boy, it just another lost season for the Lions. I already know that because they fired our coach, but I still had a lot of hope. And the way they started this game, they kept it tied at half. They battled, so I'm still extremely frustrated with the outcome. I'm not going to sleep well tonight thinking about how we could have won. But if this, what I want Darren Bevel back as offensive coordinator. I hope they let him stay in this type of offense that they're running. He was really creative out there today. Working with a lot of backups on offensive line. And if this Stafford is back as well, I would like to see that. But, well, who knows? There's so much up in the air. We'll get to that as we go on, especially with the general manager and the coach that we hire. But, King, I'll let you have the last word here before we move on to the other 2 NFC North games here.
Devontae was wearing a hat after the game that said we won, but we're not finished. That's exactly the mindset we got to have here. We did not play, elite football today. Green Bay didn't. I mean, the offense has been steady. I mean, Rodgers has definitely put himself at the top of that MVP conversation, especially I think with the game that Mahomes had today, responsible for 4 more touchdowns. He's got to be leading that charge, I think, or you can at least have a strong argument around that. But there's a lot that needs to be cleaned up, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. You could see LaFleur really start to express some frustration towards the end of the game. I think with how sloppy it got and all the penalties we have. So, a lot of improvements to be made, but you got to once again division champs, and the offense. With our offense, you feel you can win any game we step up and play. So you can just hope the defense continues or tries to make improvements and finish strong to the end of the season.
And I one more thing I got, and that's T.J. Hockenson with a touchdown catch. Every day Jimmy Graham catches one, Barney. Hockenson comes right back and catches one. It's hilarious. They both have 6 now.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Unbelievable.
It's unreal.
Hockenson hasn't caught one in a few weeks, neither has Graham. And then today they both trade off within an hour. Unbelievable. Oh man, good stuff. So, and speaking of the Bears, Barney, big victory for them. How do you feel after this game today? You're all over the place with this team. So, they're still in the playoff hunt. They're one back of the Cardinals. They have the Vikings on the schedule right next week. Right, they play the Vikings. Big game. Still a lot on the line for this team, this organization, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy's careers. How do you feel after today's game?
Oh my God. My brain is in a pretzel, but I've somehow worked through all the possibilities, and now I've just decided to be 100% behind the Bears in this Super Bowl quest for 2020.
No. Not even playoffs. We're on the Super Bowl quest. Not even the playoff quest, Barney.
You wanted everyone fired,
dude.
I
am like Doctor Strange right now, going through all of those possibilities, and I went through those millions of possibilities, and the only one I could see right now is the Bears are gonna win the Super Bowl. It's just fucking fact. Dude, this week was brutal. I had just talked myself into, because I'm out on the coaches, because I'm out on the QB, because the draft class looks pretty strong at QB, I was just thinking, you know what? And we had just lost to Detroit. For that reason, I had decided, all right, you know what? It's probably best that we don't have the greatest end of the year. But what do? We have the one game that any Bear fan has been fucking dreaming of. It was just a slap in the fucking face. But honest to God, we faced the Texans. Their defense is horrendous. But we faced those defenses, and we haven't been able to step on anybody's throat or do anything. So, from just a fan perspective, that was fun to watch, I suppose. Even though, going into the game, I didn't really want a victory here. But you know what? It's a bad time to get in the way of these Bears right now. All right? And I'm going to walk you guys through this.
Please do.
We're going to punch Minnesota in the fucking throat next week. We are going to throttle them. We are going to maul them. Then we are going to go to Jacksonville, and we're going to do the one thing none of these NFC North teams could do, and we're going to throttle them too. It's not even going to be close. This defense...
I'm sure Big Z takes a little offense to that.
This defense is going to get better as the season goes on. We got all these old guys that I know have just been kind of, going through the motions like Quinn. You got some of the other guys. I think they're about to turn it on for one last push. And then we got Green Bay at the end of the season, who might not even have to play a serious game because the Saints still have to face the Chiefs, and you never know what's about to happen there. So I'm just going to say this. The defense looked great. I know that's without Will Fuller. I get that. I know it's without Cooks, but Deshaun Watson is still Deshaun Watson. And, just to say, some of these guys, Roquan Smith continues to just show that he is at the elite level at linebacker. Mack had a strip sack. I'm sorry, he took it from Duke Johnson. He stripped Duke Johnson. He had a safety. These guys are peaking. It's going to be ugly football from here on out. But I feel like Kevin Millar, when he's down 0-3 versus the New York Yankees, all right, and he said, don't let us win tonight, okay? Because we got Kurt Schilling on the bump, then Pedro, and then Game 7, anything can happen. And I'm just letting you know, defense wins championships. I just opened up the windows. I cut off my sleeves. It's bear weather, and I'm ready to bear down.
So you do know, Barney, that this whole quest dream that I don't even know if you're awake really right now. It ends next week if you can't beat Minnesota. So let's just take it one day at a time.
I hate Bears.
I don't know.
Fans.
Is this a segue into now me defending on how we will defend the Bears coming into Minneapolis?
We're gonna focus that in the preview. We got plenty of time for that.
This is what I hate about Bears fans. They just give up on their team, then they win. Oh, that was something. Oh, they're back on the bandwagon for the rest of the season.
Well, so when is
I am the wagon. I am the wagon. There's no ever jumping off. All right, the axle is ready to go. I'm ready to spin.
He wants Foles to start again.
No.
And in Barney's defense, like he said, this is the performance that all Bears fans have been waiting for. They needed a game like this where they actually looked like a good football team on the offensive side of the ball.
5 weeks ago.
Guys,
the Texans are terrible.
The Texans are terrible. They are. But, you got to just show up, dominate, and go home. And that's what we did. And I'm fucking pumped, all right? And I'm just telling you, there's nothing about this Minnesota team that scares me. I'm telling you, Super Bowl is ours.
Awesome. Jesus Christ.
I just did the math on 538, and if the Bears win out, they have a 90% chance to make it. That's what they have them at right now. That's if they win out.
I just want to say, though, all kidding aside, this is a game that was finally coached well. Defense did great, but when you look at, what we did as an offense, we targeted the right people the right amount of times. A-Rob led it with 13 targets. He had 123. He just got 1,000 yards of the season. Montgomery had 4 shots outside of the leaking out of the backfield. Kmet got 7 targets. Graham was used in the red zone. Like, this is how the team should be used. For some reason, the Bears decided, for the last 13 weeks not to do any of this. So I'm just pumped that they did that. Montgomery, 113 yards. He had that big opener for 80-yard touchdown right off the bat. The only thing that really is our Achilles heel, and I think Montgomery's a good back, a very good back. I believe in Allen Robinson. I love that we alienated him all year, and now he wants to skip town. It's fucking ridiculous. But if we just have a decent line, this turnaround isn't that fucking out of sight. If we can run the ball, this team, our defense, can shut down really good teams. And I think the key to that all is being able to get, win in the trenches from an offensive standpoint. And today we didn't dominate or anything like that, but we did the best we did all year, and it was absolutely dominating.
It's definitely helped to put Whitehair, right? Did they move him to left guard? And who's at center now?
Sam Mustipher out of Notre Dame.
That change has definitely helped out their offense a lot for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. He's there because James Daniel went down, but I would have right now I'd love James Daniel at guard, Whitehair at guard, and then Mustipher at center. I think that's the way to go, But obviously,
and your boy Charles Leno.
Dude, we should just cut him right the fuck now. But hey, whatever. I'm not gonna focus. I finally watched a Bears game in which, when I got over the fact that I didn't want to win, and we were just dominating, it was enjoyable to watch for me. And let me tell you, fellas, it's been like over a year since I've had that feeling. So this game, it's this game. It's versus Dallas last year, or it might have been 2 years ago, and the game we had with like the 5 or 6 Trubisky touchdowns versus Tampa Bay. Those are the only 3 games in this era that I felt really fucking happy.
Wow.
And I'm all right with it.
I actually want to say I am happy for Barney and Bears fans today. I'm going to give them that. But I have to comment on this as well. The fact that over did not hit after that first half is one of the most criminal things of all time. 6 points in the second half. Are you kidding me? I was screaming at the TV when Mitch took that sack on third down. That was unbelievable. That stings. I can't believe it. I was happy for Bears fans, but I still hate the Bears that they didn't score on that last drive. I blame them. I really do.
Fellas, I have another 10-team parlay. 9 hit. Guess who fucked it up for me? The Bears. I picked Houston plus 10.5. I dragged the line. I dragged the line to 10.5 because Deshaun Watson doesn't lose by double digits. And you know what? They decided to just say, "Hey, Barney, go fuck yourself."
That's what you get for betting against your own team.
Oh,
right?
Shut the no. All right.
I'm just saying. Maybe that helped the Bears win.
If that was the key to success, and it looks like it, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. I will from now on bet against the Bears every week just so that they fucking beat me, and I'll shut up. Actually, I won't shut up. You can't shut me up.
Oh man, but I mean, Trubisky did look a lot better. He's looked a lot better the last couple weeks against. Well, I mean, two of the definitely worst defenses in the league. But I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. So I mean, that's encouraging.
One thing I do like a little bit is, he faced bad defenses. Well, let's take this all with a grain of salt. But you know what? I think the fact that we absolutely said, like, hey, Nagy is the problem. In the beginning we thought, hey, maybe it's actually just Trubisky. Who knows? And then Nick Foles came in and nothing happened. There was no spark. There was no nothing. Now I think Mitch might have a little bit more of that confidence back to where it's like, hey, look, it wasn't on me. Now the fan base doesn't think it was all on me. Even the national media is saying, Nagy looks like a clown. So, maybe this is a dangerous fucking Mitch to run into right now. He's fighting for contracts. He's fighting for relevancy. He's got damn good defense. Just be Kyle Orton. Do what we have to do. Let's win some games. Let's play in January.
And David Montgomery looked good as well in this game, Barney. I mean, he had the one big run, then he kind of didn't do a ton after that, but I mean, he's been looking a lot better the last couple of weeks. Man, does the loss last week to us, blowing that looks just extra bad right now because, I mean, you'd be sitting pretty decently for the last 2 of the 3 games here getting the playoffs. Absolutely.
I mean, the loss, the whole thing was so crushing losing to Detroit because then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I blow it all up. I want those coaches gone. That's priority 1. Let's just nip it in the bud right here. But, dude, I mean, I don't know. I can't be very upset after the first game I've ever wanted to watch them absolutely do what they just did. I don't know. It's a slap in the face, but I think the rest of our schedule is not daunting. It's not a daunting road, and if we want to be in the playoffs, if our and I think our defense truly is one of the best units out there, even though our numbers don't show it. I get that, but we will be a scary team. There's not a team out there that's gonna want to face the Bears defense, and that I take comfort with.
Definitely. And just how sad is it that the Texans don't even have a first-round draft pick this year? The Dolphins are going to go to the playoffs most likely and get this first-round draft pick for the Texans. What a steal. What a steal. I just had to throw that out there because it just amazes me how bad of a trade that was.
Yeah, that is nice knowing that we have only the second worst front office to head coach rate, tandem right now. That was all slaughtered in week 2 by Bill O'Brien.
All right. Let's move on to the last game here to cover. Remy. Brutal one today for you, especially from the kicking game. Dan Bailey could not be the kicker next week, right? This is I haven't seen a kicking performance this bad since actually Mason Crosby a couple years ago against the Lions, who I think missed 5 field goals against us. Although the Jets guy missed, I think, 4 field goals today too. So not a great day for kickers in the NFL besides Mason Crosby, ironically. Remy, the Vikings, go.
Yeah, so the Vikings came out looking sharp. Come out, you score a touchdown, opening drive. I don't even believe it was opening drive. I think we went 3 and out. We held Brady to 3 and out. He was, missing passes he should have made, and we score a touchdown. A nice Dalvin Cook touchdown, and kept getting Brady to get 3 and outs, and a couple miss it. We missed an Adam Thielen touchdown. Adam just could not. It's like it was a one-handed snag and just couldn't hang on to it. So, but yeah, no, back to Dan Bailey. He had 10 points left up here on the board. And if you look at the final score, 14-26, if you add those 10 points back on, that's 22-26. We would have had the ball with 3 minutes left. You had to have think they would have played
26-24
pressure on their back. 26-24, yeah. And but no, I listening to Mike Zimmer's press conference after the game, he's most likely gone after
I did like his quote, Remy. We don't care about feelings around here.
No, and the point is to win. You got to go and you got to do your job, and they gave him multiple chances, and you're in a position to take control of your own destiny and jump ahead in the playoffs, and just coming from a 1-5 team, and then you have a kicker that you just got to go do your job. And otherwise, I thought, offense moved the ball well. Defense against Tom Brady and guys like Antonio Brown and Mike Evans held their own for being rookies. But at the end of the day, you got to play on all 3 phases, and the one phase just could not get it done for us. Dan Bailey will probably be cut by tomorrow morning. The last time we saw this happen was Daniel Carlson against Week 2 in the Packers, when he missed all those kicks, all those potential game-winning kicks, all those walk-off kicks in Week 2. We spent a 5th round on him, and we cut him Week 2. So, Dan Bailey, you have worn purple and gold for the last time. I hope you never come back to
Remember
town.
when, I know the Bears get a lot of flack with their field goal kicking, and rightfully so with the double doinks, but it hasn't really been pretty in Minnesota at all. Remember Blair Walsh shanking that 20-yarder?
I was at It was a 26-yarder. I was at that game. Negative 26.
So you freeze your ass off for that miss? Oh, my God.
Yeah, I froze my ass off for Teddy to drive us all the way down there and to go on and play Arizona in the second round, and Blair Walsh missed it. Yeah, no, I haven't missed a playoff game since I was like 16 and could drive. So I've been to every one. Miracle, you name it. So no, yeah. And then obviously you go back to the 98 game against the Falcons where Gary Anderson was perfect all year, and the one kick he had to make to send them, he misses. So we're used to it. We can never just find a good kicker, and then you got guys just hitting 58, 59 yarders. It's stupid. But I mean, hey, it's do or die next week against the Bears. Look, going forward, though, you're going to see a whole new different team next season if we do die next week with defense-wise. But I think overall, I liked what I saw today from this team. We dominated time of possession, and Kirk did what he had to do. He didn't throw an interception, and he threw touchdowns, and Dalvin did what he did. It's just you just got to win those games.
Remy, I got to give it to you. I said, in the preview that I thought you guys were going to get handled. And I think, even though the score says you kind of did, obviously with those misses, I thought you're right on the money. You guys came out with fight. You didn't get things clicking exactly the way you wanted, but I thought from a matchup standpoint, this was a very bad matchup for you guys. And, Dalvin Cook still churning out 100, on only like 20 or so carries. It wasn't like they just kept feeding him and that's why he got there. You guys were able to, take it to Tampa quite a bit. It's just you didn't walk away with points quite a few times, and that's gonna kill you every game, no matter who you're facing.
And but I mean, the big number here in this game, Remy, 6. Kirk Cousins got sacked 6 times in this game, and a lot of them on the clutch or key third down plays. Does that concern you going against the Bears next week? The play of this offensive line in the pass game.
Oh yeah, no, of course. It's always a close one with the Bears too. Our O-line's got to get better, and Kirk, as long as he doesn't get fumbled and it gets returned back from a touchdown twice in a row like Jeremy Chin did, it's definitely a concern. O-line has to step up, but man, our defense has to keep doing what they're doing, and we got to find a kicker, and we got to do it quick because, like I said, this next game we got coming up is do or die.
Yep, definitely. Man, week 14, there's 15, 16, 17 left. That's it. That's all we got. And the Packers sitting in primo position for that all-important bye, Kinger. I mean, that's bigger than ever now because of it's only one team that gets the bye. There's no double bye.
Yeah, it is. Like you said, with the changes this year, it's only one team's getting that extra week of rest. And obviously late in the season, everybody's banged up at that point. Everybody's fighting through injuries, soreness, and it could be a big difference to get that. And then, be able to play in Lambeau throughout the playoffs. Although no fans this year, we're still hoping for that for sure.
And Barney, I don't know if you know the answer to this. Who has the tiebreaker if the Cardinals and Bears have the same record? Do you know?
No, I don't. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Is this assuming the Bears?
I'm just curious.
Are we assuming that?
I know the Vikings don't have the tiebreaker, at least based on the standings from last week. But I was curious if the Bears do or not. I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, unfortunately.
We'll cross that bridge if we beat Winnie. We'll talk about it then.
Fair enough. And we'll be talking about all that as well in our preview episode later in this week. But man, my team's out of it. Bears and Vikings still fighting for that 7th playoff spot, and the Packers looking good with three games left in the season, although some things to work out. But we want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. We want to thank our producer, Kid J, for doing everything he does. He's done an awesome job so far, and we'll keep this train going. Instagram at The Pylon, and Twitter at The Pylon Pod. So please follow us on both those platforms. We really appreciate it. And please subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. And please leave a review. But thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you later this week to preview Week 15 of the NFL season as we start marching towards the playoffs. Have a great start to your week.
Bear down.
Oh, it's back. It's back.